And for Off the Block, I'm Vinny Lopes, and we are now joined by Ball State University men's volleyball head coach Joel Walton after his team knocked off the number 7 team in the country, Lewis, in 5 games at home. And, Coach, pretty impressive performance by your team tonight. How would you assess the way you guys played?
Well, we got off to a good start and got Lewis back on their heels in Game 1. Game 2, they fought really hard and came away with an extended or overtime victory. Game 3, we did a horrible job with our serve and didn't generate any kind of defensive pressure on them. And thankfully, we were able to correct that in Games 4 and 5, as well as get some really good bench play from Caleb Jennis, Blake Reardon, Nick Levanchi. Those guys picked us up and helped change the momentum. Jake Romano came in and did a good job as a serving sub for us as well in those last few games.
Well, Coach, I want to ask you about the final 2 games because, lose by 10-plus in the third game. Was it as simple as just being able to kind of reset with a fresh slate in Game 4 and 5, or were there any other subtle changes you guys made?
Well, in Game 4, we brought in Jennis as a full-time outside and brought Chinisi back in. Chinisi didn't play the majority of Game 3. Ben is just such a stable ball control person for us, a good passer and serve receive, good defender. And Jennis is somebody that at times this year has given us another good pin attacker opposite Chevs, somebody who can come in and generate offense at the left pin. So those things worked, and we found a rhythm. Our guys were just really determined on defense. We kept a lot of Lewis attacks alive, and we were able to win some of the extended rallies and get the momentum back on our side of the net.
Well, Coach, offensively, 0 attack errors in the decisive 5th game. You had 4 players finish with double-digit kills. I know a lot of that starts with your setter. Can you talk about the play of Quinn Isaacson today?
Well, Quinn has really benefited, unfortunately for Jake Romano, from Jake's injury and having the opportunity to be out and run our team's offense. Quinn, he's a good athlete. He's a great competitor, and he's continuing to improve and understand the weapons that we have and the best way to use those guys as he's running our team's offense. Our last 2 games, we hit over 300, and Quinn did a nice job getting the ball to the right place.
Yeah. Well, Coach, I do want to ask you, I know Jake Romano is starting to recover a little bit. He's we've seen out there as a service sub, but is Quinn going to be your guy towards the end of the season that you're going to be continuing to roll with in the starting lineup?
Well, Vinny, we've got a number of matches left, and I think it would be premature of me to say that Quinn is going to for sure be our guy for the rest of the season. I think it helps our team that we have an experienced setter in Jake Romano who's getting back healthy and able to start doing more and more every week in practice. And like I said, it's been a great opportunity that Quinn has taken advantage of, stepping out on the court and running our team's offense and becoming a good leader for our program as well. So I like the fact that we're going to have both Romano and Isaacson. They both can serve in setting roles, serving roles, leaders. All of those things benefit our program, having both of those guys able to compete for our team.
Yeah. Coach, I want to ask you guys look at this, able to beat Lewis, a team that was undefeated in conference play. How big of a win is this for you guys, just in terms of mentally knowing that you guys are capable of taking down the first-place team in the MEVA?
Well, Vinny, I think for sure it's a good mental boost for our team. It shows them that they can stand up and battle with one of the top teams in the country and come out on top. It's also critical because of where we stand in the MIVA standings, and we're going to be in a race for those 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th positions going into our conference tournament. And for sure, you want to be as high as possible because the way that our conference tournament works, the highest seed hosts every round of our tournament, the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and the championship. So conference tournament matches at home matter a great deal as you're trying to work towards a big finish at the end of the season. And we now have to climb a big mountain with 5 road conference matches to end our season, but matches that are going to determine what our path is as we finish out in the MIVA tournament.
Yeah. And Coach, two final questions before we let you go. I want to ask you about the road matches because you know as well as anyone, the MIVA, it's so difficult to win on the road, and you guys are so great at Worthing. What do you guys have to do kind of towards the stretch of the season to take how well you guys are playing in Worthing and bring that on the road?
I think a part of it is going to be our routine, just making sure that the guys are in a good routine every day that we're competing on the road. And that part of that is what we do as a staff to help prepare them, how we schedule those days. The other part of it is our guys, they have to do the work. They have to prepare for each one of those matches, understand our opponent, and make sure that we're going to go in and execute the game plan that we want to play that given night. We can't look forward. We can't look back. We've just got to take it a match at a time and do the best we can through this stretch of matches and realize that it is going to be hard and do the best we can to stand up to that challenge.
All right. And final question, Coach, and we'll let you go on this. A pretty rare afternoon match for you guys, home afternoon match. I know a couple of years ago, had an afternoon match, beat UC Irvine. You beat Lewis. Do you think that this should be the new trend for you guys, getting some afternoon matches at Worthing?
You know, Vinny, I appreciate you saying that because both of my assistant coaches before the match started told me this is the worst thing we could possibly do. We don't get as good a crowd. It's just we don't want to be doing it. And meanwhile, on the other side of the ledger, a lot of coaches in our league would like to see us begin playing Thursday night matches and Saturday matinees where we can, where we don't have interference from basketball scheduling or other events in our arenas. So knowing now that we've had a couple of big afternoon wins, it at least gives me something that I can use as another side of the argument when I'm talking to my staff.